Hello and welcome. Briefly, we want to talk about the authentication service and the features that we are going to implement in the authentication service. The authentication service will be responsible for authenticating users in our application. Now, this authentication service will be used to generate the JSON web token, and then it will be sent to the API gateway. Then it's in the API gateway that we are going to save the JWT token in the cookie session. Now, this authentication service, we have some features. In fact, it will have two main features. Okay, so the main features are going to be from the Auth service. We're going to have the authentication feature, and we're going to have a search feature. Now, for the authentication feature, we are going to implement authentication for our sign up. We're going to implement sign in. Okay, so the user will create an account with their username, email, and password, and then they can log in or sign in with email or username. We're also going to implement the password reset feature, so users should be able to reset their password. We already created the template. I already showed you the templates that we are going to use. Then we're also going to implement email verification, so the user has to verify their email. Okay, so once they create an account, they will be able to log in, but the features we're going to implement it that some of the main features on the application will be limited until they verify their email. Now, they should be able to also send a verification or resend the verification email. Okay, so on the front end inside the application, we'll have a link for them to resend the verification email. We're going to implement this. Also, we're going to have token refresh. So if the token expires when the user is making a request, all we just need to do is send another request to get a new token. And then another feature would be for current users. Okay, so we'll always check if the user is valid or the token of the user is valid. Okay, and then we return the current user data. So if the token is not valid and the current user endpoint returns error, then we have to automatically log out the user. So these are just the features we are going to implement with respect to authentication. Now, the other feature is going to be the search feature. Now, for this search, the way we are going to implement it is simple. Okay, we want users to be able to search for gigs even though they are not authenticated. Okay, so when they search for gigs, they won't be able to purchase any gig until they authenticate, but they should be able to search for gigs. Okay, so when on the index page of our front-end application, we are going to have a search bar, and then the user can search for gigs. Now, remember, the gigs that users will create, we are going to save them to Elasticsearch and also to MongoDB. But for the search, for retrieving the data, we are only going to retrieve from Elasticsearch. So in this Auth service, we are going to implement also the service or the search service to be able to get data from Elasticsearch. So these are the two main features we are going to implement in our Auth service.